5:30, the mayor and everyone tonight, so you're going to have to put up a meeting. Sorry about that. Phyllis will lead our prayer, and I will do the pledge. Phyllis?
Everyone bow with me. Father, we just thank you for this gathering of the city council and the other citizens that are here with us this evening. Father, we just ask you to give us the wisdom that we need for understanding and the courage to make the right decisions for the city. Father, we just ask you for rain. We just ask you to just let it just shower us. Just as you shower us with your blessing, shower us with rain. Father, we thank you for all the upcoming things that are happening within Clinton. Continue to bless our leaders in this city, Father. We just thank you for our school children and just let them have just a glorious year this year. We thank you for all things in Jesus' name this evening. Amen.
Please join me in our pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call to order the regular meeting of the Industrial Authority. First thing on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda. Does anybody want to approve that?
Second.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Harrell?
Yes.
And Vice Chair?
Next item is action item, proposal plat for Ridley Engineering. You want to do that a little bit?
Yeah, Joe, you want to come up? Joe Ridley's been working on this plat for us. You've seen the preliminary plat. He's been working on the final plat. And I'm going to have him kind of walk you through it a little bit. Before he starts to do that, Gene, I'll try to get the
Okay,
full
you on the-
set.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, no, if you go back in there.
Go back.
Yeah, and click on the link. There you go.
Okay.
It'll be at the bottom.
So people can see this. It's hard to see, I know, but one of the items, council, you'll notice that we had to come up with some street names, and so I arbitrarily chose some ex-presidents to try to make it quick, and Truman, Garfield, and Cleveland. They can be changed, but we didn't have those names in town, so I just arbitrarily thought that would be 3 good street names. But Joe, you want to walk me through this?
You bet. First off, I want to apologize. This isn't the final version of the final plat. It's pretty close, but we discovered some errors. Actually, Darrell MacArthur, local surveyor that's doing the surveying for us, in his review over, I think it was Friday, he found some errors on how we had this laid out. Pretty simple. Can't believe that we didn't catch it before he did, but basically along the north side, where these dimensions on the north lot, all the way down that north side, those dimensions go to the center line, which is the section line, basically. Those dimensions of those lots should have gone to the right of way, 33 feet to the south of that line, basically. So that made some of these lots less than 6,000 square feet along that north side. So we were in the process yesterday of manipulating the layout a little bit to try to get the same number of lots and get that all to work. And like I said, I'll take full responsibility for that. I shouldn't have been working on the last minute trying to get something done. That's always when you have a problem and our computer on our draftman's computer crashed. And so I think last update I got is everything was salvaged. I think we're going to be able to pick up where we left off, but we couldn't get it printed and finished before the meeting today. I can walk you through some of the changes. I don't have all of the dimensions on the lots, but like I said, basically those will, all of them will that the lot line will be 33 feet south of where it's shown now. Because of that, what we ended up doing is the middle street, the lots on both sides of that, and the lots across the utility easement to the east and the west of those lots, those depths will change by 5 feet. So if you look at Garfield Street, the lots directly to the east of Garfield Street are labeled 75 feet right now. Like I said, I believe the change we made, I'm pretty sure, was we moved that to 80 feet, and we reduced the lots on the west side of Cleveland Street to 90 feet. The reason we did that is because we had to adjust all of the widths of those lots. And the lots that were only 75 foot deep were no longer 6,000 square feet. And so we had to make those adjustments. We did the exact same thing on the west side of Garfield Street. The only place we weren't able to salvage a 6,000 square foot lot was there where lot 1 is. It just doesn't work out. Those lots along that side, which is the far west side of the property, they just were too small. By the time we took 33 feet out of that block, it just didn't work out. So what we did there was we reduced by 1 lot, and so all those lots are going to be just a little bit bigger. And we ended up having 45 or 50 feet. Well, you can do the math. It's 86 minus 33. So was that 53 feet that we'll have to distribute among the rest of those lots. So those lots will be a little bit bigger, a little nicer. So we'll end up with 41 lots. The street layout will be exactly the same. The drainage, exactly the same. Basically, if you'll look at Truman, the entire street of Truman will drain to the south. And then if you'll look between lots 7 and 8, there's a drainage easement there, and so the water will drain in that easement. We'll have a small ditch there. It won't have to be very big because there's not a lot of water here, very small streets. And then we'll drain down into a pond that will be south of the gas line. The exact same thing will happen on the other 2 streets. On Garfield Street, it will be between lots 20 and 21. And on Cleveland Street, it will be, this will be where another change will be. We'll actually have a drainage easement between lots 35 and 36. And if you look on the back side of 36 there where all those dots are, that's where the sanitary sewer lift station is going to be. That'll be the location there. But instead of having a dedicated area there that the city will maintain between lots 36 and 35 that goes from the cul-de-sac down to the lift station, that'll actually be a drainage easement. There's no reason to have that be something that the city maintains. So 36 will actually be a little wider. It'll go over to that line that's labeled L6. That'll be, and then that lift station will be a dedicated area that the city will be responsible for maintaining and all that, obviously. It's really pretty simple. There's not a lot to it. There's a pipe, if you look at the south property line, kind of in the, a little bit to the right of the middle, you can see what's labeled a 24-inch CGMP, corrugated galvanized metal pipe, basically. What it does is it'll drain our detention pond so that all of the extra runoff that we create in this subdivision won't just be dumped onto your neighbors. It'll be metered out gradually at a rate that is no greater than what they're receiving right now. That's the whole idea behind having a detention pond. So, like I said, I don't have the exact dimensions of the lot changes. There's probably a dozen lots there that the dimensions are going to change a little bit. Don't really have that on me. Like I said, it got lost in the crash. The other page, did you have that page on there?
Yeah, there's still.
There'll be a few grammatical changes and I guess just clerical changes here. Been instructed to add up there in the top left, it says the city of Clinton, Oklahoma. We'll insert after Clinton, Oklahoma, Clinton Industrial Authority there. Then over on the right side, where it says acceptance of dedication by city council, it will actually say acceptance of dedication by the Clinton Industrial Authority. And then instead of the mayor's signature, we'll have the chairman's signature. We'll do away with approved by the mayor of the city of Clinton. It actually says Weatherford right now, which is, we take these plans and we pull them over and then we change them so we don't have to recreate everything. This is obviously from the Weatherford job. So we'll do away with the part that says mayor and the part that says council. It'll say Clinton Industrial Authority there, so that'll all be cleaned up. Like I said, 41 lots, pretty straightforward. I want to apologize again for not having the final plat today. Should have been happening to work on it at the very last second. I'll take full responsibility for that. And also, we're about a month behind on this thing. We should have had this approved about a month ago or more. I'll do is I'll wait until we get the final plat approved by the city before we start construction documents. But about 2 weeks ago, we started working on the construction documents too. I don't want to wait until you guys get approval. And this computer crash isn't going to hold that up. All that was saved and we're good to go on that. So we should be on track to get those going fairly fast. Our priority there is first getting the grading plans done. So obviously that's the first thing that'll be done. So when we can get grading started as soon as we get those plans done. And our second priority will be the water and sewer, and then the street plans. So that'll be in that order that we'll try and produce them. So I don't know how the city wants to let these, if we want to let them all as a package, or if we want to let the grading individually, and then the water and sewer, and then the streets. It's usually cleaner to let it all as one project, but for time's sake, it may be better to at least get the grading plans out on the street fairly quick and know where we kind of get started with this. So, I'll open it up to any questions.
Alan's not here, so I'll say this is exciting.
Really, it's exactly like we discussed. I think it looks good.
It's excellent.
We're excited to be working on it, and like I said, I apologize that we're not further on. I might have, if things go well with him working on his computer, getting the technician straightened out on the deal, I might have the final version by tomorrow. So as soon as I get that, I'll forward that to Steve, and he can get it to you guys. But there's not gonna be any surprises there. This layout is 95% correct. The streets aren't gonna change, one less lot. Yes, yes.
I have a question. So you're basically the 33 foot from the section line, we're moving that dimension south, right, from the north?
Yeah.
Where the dots are? And you're going to adjust the depth of these lots on the middle street to make up?
Yeah, really, I mean, yeah, exactly. We're losing 33 feet off the north side because we laid it out based on that north boundary being, all usable lot, and it obviously 33 feet of it was a road easement, so we lost 33 feet. Exactly. The far west line, there's not enough room there to salvage. But the next 5 lots along that north boundary, we're able to absorb that 33 feet, take a little bit off the lots adjacent to it on down. I think a couple of them, you go 4 lots deep or so before we get enough and maintain our 6,000 square feet. That's the big deal, is maintaining that 6,000 square feet minimum.
Okay.
I believe the narrowest lot we have, I want to say 67 feet. We might, like this, if you look at Truman Street, and don't hold me to this, but the best that I can remember is on Truman Street, lot number 11 is 65 feet. I think we might have even increased that to 67.
That was not gonna be my next question. Is there not a way that we could prorate that 33 foot into these first few lots as far as width-wise instead of depth?
Yeah, I had to do both.
Okay.
I had to do both, because when I lost width, I had to go deeper on a couple of lots, and obviously you can't just do that for a couple, you have to change all of them. So yeah, that was my first goal, was to just absorb it on width, and because I really like those 95-foot lots. I think some people would really like the deeper lots, but
Yes.
I think we were able to maintain it at 90, so that's still a pretty decent lot, so 90 and 80. And then the utility easement will still be on the 90-foot lot, not on the 80-foot lot, so you can, I believe that the city will allow you to still fence off your utility easement. You just can't build like that on where but you still have to be able to access that, so it'll still be a usable backyard.
Without having the information right in front of you, the original proposal was at 44, and we're down, it's gonna be 41 is what you're pretty comfortable with right now?
Yeah, we're at 41.
Okay.
I want to say it was 43 the last time.
Yeah, we were 43, we were hoping to get to 44, now we're back to 41, so.
That's overpromise and underdeliver, that's the way
Brian, do you think we need
Absolutely,
Yeah, that was the next thing that we'll need when we file this. When we get approval, get all the signatures and everything, we'll have to have protected covenants that will be filed with that.
You all need input on that, you all need to tell Steve what you all want,
Yeah.
would like to see in covenants, and we can get them drawn.
I probably have a couple samples of what I've done on past jobs, but you guys probably have a better idea of what you want that would be consistent with what you see over here.
Get with Steve, let him make some recommendations.
Yeah, we're gonna, I'm gonna take some stuff from the, like, look at Sites Acres and some of those areas that have already been in place and try to mirror those and get some feedback from Joe on what's been going in some other places and bring back some recommendations to it.
But we need to be kind of thinking about that because we don't want to be in a position to move.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I expect we'll have it quickly, so we won't have any delay.
just to clarify too, nothing on this plat as far as long as you guys are okay with our street layout, it sounds like everybody's pretty comfortable with that, pond and everything, nothing's gonna delay our construction documents. We're moving as fast on those as what we would if you guys had approved this last week. So just so you know, there's nothing, the restricted covenants or anything like that's not gonna delay any of that.
Any other questions from the council? Any questions from anybody in the audience? All right, can we prove it as, even though it's not, should we go ahead and prove it as it
But
is?
you might make mention of the changes, don't approve the plat that's presented, we'll approve it with the changes mentioned by Mr. Wood.
How long would it take to have just the final?
After today, I'm reluctant to say, but I'm cautiously optimistic I'll have it by noon tomorrow.
We can go ahead and approve it with changes. You comfortable?
Okay.
See,
Oh, yeah, no, we did that on the signature sign and stamped and stuff from the county.
I make a motion we approve the plat with the amendments set out by Mr. Bicker.
You have a second? All in favor?
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Huber?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes. Okay.
I will say that Joe will get those to me, and as soon as I get those, I will forward them on to all of you, so you can look at them as we're going through, getting all the signatures and everything wrapped up, so. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can get with me, we can put it back on a special meeting or something.
We move our street.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I'll handle this better. Yeah.
Okay, city managers report.
Council, in this particular authority, I was just going to give an update. Today in America, which did the filming a few weeks back, a month plus, or two. They're going to come back out again Friday and catch some more. So if you see them out and about, they're going to do some more filming to make this a little better. They're going to try to up to date on some of the water park stuff and some other things in our schools and sessions. So if you see them, they're going to come out. And they still haven't given me a time they're going to air this. It'll be in the fall, but they're going to be like out Friday to do some more filming. So, and that's really all I have in the industrial authority tonight. Just a little update.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
And Vice Chair.
Yes. All right, moving on to Public Works. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Rudolph?
Yes.
And Vice Chair.
Yes. Action items, first one, number A, consider bids on rehabilitation of clarifier tanks at the wastewater treatment plant.
We have one bid.
One bid.
In council, these are the clarifiers. We are under basically a mandate from DEQ to have those rehab by the end of this year. We do that in last budget, we budgeted for those in each of the year. And so this this will allow us to get these wrapped up if we get
Before we
bids.
read that, what's the engineer's estimate?
Oh, I apologize, I do not have that, and actually, you know, we had an early estimate of Jeremy.
The early estimate was around 185,000.
Or it's kind of like, you know,
Yeah. Pretty sure we're pretty close here. Only have one bid, so.
since we only have one bid.
Help to find
Okay.
page we need.
Well, I think it's right here.
Okay, this is from Sharp Iron Group, doing business as BW Services out of Wichita Falls, Texas. And their bid is $167,100.
That's 8355 for each clarifier.
Oh, okay, each clarifier, that's a price of $83,550. Well, that's a good price or not.
Well, it's under what they thought it would be.
Yeah, so I guess it's. Any questions?
I'd move we refer this to city staff to review, and if it meets with their approval, to award the contract. That's my motion.
I will second.
Trustee Randall?
Yes.
Trustee Huber?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
And Vice Chair?
Yes. City managers report.
Council would like to introduce our new Public Works Director, Stephen Jones, and ask Stephen, put him on the spot here to introduce himself, a little bit of his background. He comes from Garden City. He's got, well, I'll let him save everything, and we're glad to have him. Stephen? Yes, please.
I'm Stephen Jones. I moved down here from Garden City. My background in the city was stormwater coordinator and household hazardous waste manager. I've also had some background in farming, ranching, and also patient finance for hospitals. I have a vast area of background in this.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What, you got kids and family?
Yes. I'm married. My wife's name is Sarah. She teaches over at 4th grade at Southwest. I have my oldest is Isabel. She's 10. She's 5th grade over at Washington. My son's 7. He's 2nd grade at Southwest. And today was my youngest, Naomi. She's 4 at pre-K over at Nance.
We're glad to have you.
We're certainly glad to have you.
Welcome aboard.
Well, he's let me tell you, he's had hands full already this week, and so, but I told him he's a hero already because he's been in 1 week and it's rained 3 times. Maybe he's a good luck charm, so we will hope. Last item tonight, we'll give you a quick water update, council. We reviewed the wells out at Burns Flat, and we have, which ones were our property and where those stood. We found out we need to cap some of those wells that are out there that need to be, but we have the water rights in section, I believe 36 is still a city of Clinton property, and we have the rights to them. And we'll do some test wells out there. We're working with an individual who did a test well between here and Clinton Lake. The test at this point looks fairly good on the early test. We'll do some additional more in-depth tests that are required by DEQ. If that comes back good, then we'll take the next step, which would be apply for public water use and those kind of things. But I think we're starting to see an opportunity here, and we'll hopefully find some water. We know there's water in the location at the Burns Flat oil field. Now, how much, though, they have a history of about 50 to 75 gallons per minute, so it may take 4 or 5, which maybe we could get 500,000 gallons a day into the lake. If the water does test out good between here and Clinton Lake, we can talk about ways to directly blend that into our system and bring it in. That could be up to maybe 750,000 gallons a day, maybe up to 1 million. We'll see if 1 or 2 wells could work out. So we're moving forward on those plans. We'll continue that effort, and it doesn't end there. We'll continue to look at other areas. We know there's water, in this southern part of Clinton Lake and past Burns Flat and the Canute area. So we'll continue that, and this is a quick update tonight. And basically that kind of wraps up my report in Public Works.
I guess our water usage has still been down, and we're doing good still on that.
We're managing our water use, we appreciate it. We've had to get on to a couple people that have abused it, but we've dealt with that, and we're getting good compliance from the community. The rain helps all the yards, and helps our attitude, I think, helps my attitude anyway, so. But yeah, we're handling and managing the situation, watching that daily. And Tuesdays and Thursdays, we take a big hit, but we catch up in the evenings, we're managing that.
Have we heard anything about what Foss might want to do different, or they've got some engineers out there too, or?
Foss, yes, sir. Foss has hired Guernsey to their new engineer, and they're doing a 20-year water report, water plan. I think they're looking at all avenues, including, they have some discharge issues, they have to deal with some of those items, and they'll have to clean that up and or work those out with DEQ and EPA. Also, they are looking at expansions and how to, those kind of things. And I think there's a lot of operational things they'll see in their 20-year plan. I think we always need to understand that that is a great source. We're a great partner. I attend those meetings and work with them the best I can. But also we need Clinton Lake or wells, and we need a very vast and large portfolio of water due to what we're seeing in the future. And obviously water is a precious resource, as we know, in the future. So we need to continue working in both areas, and we will do that. So.
And I totally agree with Steve. We need to be looking at the water source to get to Clinton Lake rehabbed, and we need to be looking at the well fields in Burns Flat. We need to be looking south of Manuka. And I'm very excited about the water that you've located between here and Clinton Lake. I hope that checks out, because in the short term, that sure could alleviate our water
Yes,
crisis.
would.
Yes.
And I'm really excited about that. Just hope it tests out.
Okay,
You're doing a good job, and
Well, we had a few roadblocks, but I do think we'll get there. And we appreciate the community working with us on that. So. And that's what I got in the public works.
Any questions from the council for this area? Anybody in the audience have a question for Steve on any of this? All right, I hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Trustee Hulen?
Yes.
Trustee Randolph?
Yes.
And Vice Chair?
Yes. All right, moving on to the regular meeting of the Clinton City Council. Consider a consent agenda. I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Smith? Yes. Councilman Hulen?
Yes.
Councilman Randolph?
yes.
And Vice Mayor?
Yes. All right, first action item, discuss and consider possible charter changes for our municipal elections. Steve, you want to raise that today?
Yeah, and I'm going to throw it to Ryan here in a minute, but basically, we need some clarifications. We need tonight, because if you want to make a change, we'll need a resolution. We'll need to schedule a special meeting so that resolution's passed, sent to the county board for the governor ballot in November. Don had some concerns. I think that we are a charter city. We don't have to follow the general election and election board in the state. He's right, but we'd have to change our election dates that could not coincide with the election board or the county or the state. Ryan, you want to go into
Yeah,
that?
I think that's, but the two things that I see as wrong. It can't be on a date that another county board, state, or federal election is occurring. If it's on one of those dates, then we're going to fall within the auspices of the statute, which requires us to file and comply with their dates on that one. Also to that end, outside of the requirements of complying with the specific dates in the statute allotted for state, county, and federal elections, there are requirements as far as resolutions and the days that you can, there are date requirements for filing a resolution, for the city filing a resolution with the county election board for the dates to occur. There are so many days within, after that resolution, by statutes, outside of the new laws that were passed. There are requirements within which the filing period can occur. So all of that together, it's a puzzle that they have created that puts us in the position of needing to lean county election board and their dates. Long story short, it's gonna be a headache for Lisa if we change it. And because she's gonna have to go through the roadmap of figuring out what days we can and can't do it. And or me or the city attorney.
You know, but Ron, and I should have read what we had. Why couldn't we set a provision, a filing provision, say 90 days filing in September and have the election in November?
The problem in my mind, and this is the way that I interpret it, is in order for us, for the charter or the state, or our code to trump state law, it has to be an item of purely municipal matter. They're going to say that as long as we're using the county election board to conduct our elections, that it's not a purely municipal matter, because we're leaning on the state. We're using state resources, even if we're contributing, even if we're paying. So that's why they have been able to legislate specific dates for filing periods and for resolutions to them. They want the heads up when it's going to happen. So I think the obstacle becomes, first of all, finding a date that is outside of a date that they're going to be conducting an election. The second thing is, then you're right, if it was just set a date for filing in September or whatever, then we could comply. But the problem is, the way the statute's written, is the filing period is required to be within so many days of the resolution being filed with the county election board. So,
Well, that sure made it
they
complicated.
made it complicated.
We can't do it like we did before we changed it this one. That's the laws, they changed the laws since our last.
You can, but you're gonna have to find the niche, you're gonna have to find the pigeonhole, you're gonna have to put your finger in the dike and stop the leak. It's gonna be, I mean, you've got to find that day, first of all, that day that nobody else is doing anything else. And then you can slip in there and do it. And who knows if we change it in our charter, if that same day is gonna be there the next year.
They were almost stuck having to do this.
Well, they're only certain, actually, by statute, as I recall, there are only certain days you have municipal elections.
Special elections. General elections, you can set in your charter. Special elections are going to be required essentially to be on the second Tuesday of whatever month that the election board makes available.
So I guess we can keep on working on it.
Well, I'll give you the stuff.
We're kind of down to the,
If you want it on November's ballot, we are down, we need to have a special meeting next week
yeah.
and a resolution.
Well, why don't we just keep working on it and maybe come up with a plan for
For next year.
You can do it next year, you can look at that.
Do, are you,
I hate to, I just hate to rush it.
I agree.
we have to sign specific dates in our charter where our election, when our election, our general election will be held.
Yes, the charter, right, the charter sets out our elections.
So it couldn't be left open-ended for a first available date, or, I mean,
Well,
does it
it's-
have to be
It comes back.
day specific?
Well, not particularly day specific, but here's the problem that you run into. The charter identifies how long you hold your seat as a councilman. It's the organic document that sets out, I mean, it tells us how long you can be here, and so from that perspective, when you start changing those dates, you don't want, and I guess we could change the elections without changing when you hold the office,
And that,
but they're tied together in the charter is my point.
That's
yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking. We change the date, but not change the term of office. You know, what I was looking at was the lengthy, I think
that's what everybody was upset with, that was just too long.
This year was a little bit different, they
Said that
told us
we
you
have
had
to
that.
have a certain date, and there's no guarantee that it will be the same each
They
year.
require, the statutes require that we file, the city files with the county election board a resolution that identifies the date that we're going to.
Like the first Thursday in
Right,
And then we have a
Commensurate with that.
Nobody else is.
right. Commensurate with that, we have to, within 15 days, but not less than 20 days, have the filing period. So our filing period is directly tied to the day that we send them the resolution, and they dictate when we send them the resolution
And you do that every year, I guess.
annually.
And,
because we have an election every.
yeah.
Well, let's do this, let's
Table this,
have them keep working on
I think that's what we need
it.
to
It'll be, it'll give us something to talk about.
do. Yeah.
And I'll give you all the information that, the research that I've done. On some level, you all don't want to pay me to figure out elections for you all, but you all are certainly intelligent enough to parse through it yourself.
Okay, here it is.
So we'll have it in November, just like we planned anyway. And that's fine.
I think this year we can't change.
No, you can't do anything anyway, okay.
Yeah, this is-
So 2013 is going to remain the same as it is right now.
At this point.
At this point.
2014, you could potentially have an election in 2013 for a charter change that would affect the 2014 election.
Gerald, you got this all down perfect.
Just ask Lisa how many times I've asked her.
Okay, any other questions regarding this? Anybody in the audience want to tackle it? How about City Manager's report then?
Oh, council, just a quick update. Downstairs, we're about 60 days out from completion downstairs. We're in the final phase of the rehab, and so we're in the last stretch. If you haven't been down there recently, it's really looking good, except for the areas we're still working on, but it's very good project. As you can tell, the fire station has begun. That project has begun. It's the dirt work. Still working on utility relocation with PSO and AT&T. There's some final things staff's working on, working with them, but that'll come together. And the contractor's already begun their work, and that'll continue. So I will be having Rhonda get with you and getting a date here after Labor Day for a groundbreaking, and we'll get the shovels and hats, all that good stuff, and take some pretty pictures. And so be looking at your calendars, and we'll do all that officially. So she'll get with you very soon on that. So, and that's really all I have tonight. If there's any questions.
Council, do you have anything else to bring up?
I just want to thank you, our newspaper did an excellent article.
They did, didn't they?
That National Baptist Convention, they're still excited. It was planned to go to Lawton next year, but there's a possibility we can get it back in Clinton because of the just excellent way that Clinton treated everybody, all the delegates here.
Great.
Council, I did have one extra thing. I apologize. Channel 5 does their On the Road,
Yes.
and they will be here September 10th. I'm not sure the location as of yet. They will be here September 10th, so we'll be shining all the good things in town and showing off, and they'll be doing a few stories about some good things in Clinton. So I just want you to be aware that Channel 5 will do their On the Road segment again here this year.
I had forgot, is that just one day or is it 3 or 4
One day.
days? One day. Okay, anything from the audience you'd like to bring up before we adjourn? Seeing none, we'll adjourn the meeting of the Clinton City Council. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess we have to go.
Councilwoman Smith?
Yes.
Councilman Rodoff? Councilman Huglen?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor?
Yes.